So Glenn and Tara runs into those army guys, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get Dr. Eugene down to damn, I forgot where they was going, but they're bringing him somewhere to basically, essentially, he has the cure, or he has the datas for what's been going on in the world. So he basically knows about the walkers, and he knows how to cure everybody. So basically they're trying to get him out of there, bring him to, I think, Washington somewhere, and they're trying to get him down there just to get him safe so he can get the cure. Basically they save Glenn, and Glenn wants to go back and get Maggie. And this is what I said. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew something between borderline saving the world and not saving the world. I didn't think about saving the world, but I knew something important was gonna happen, and Glenn was gonna turn his back on the importance of humanity just to save Maggie. And I knew this was gonna fuck them up. And this is gonna happen with Maggie too. Something's gonna happen with her crew, and she's not gonna do it because she's gonna wanna save Glenn. So basically, Eugene runs into a herd, sprays off, and then he takes out their truck, and now they can't really go anywhere. So they have to help Glenn out, and then Eugene says, well, you're going to find a truck on the way, and basically that truck is going to help us get back on track. So the dude, the army guy, I forgot his name, but all he's trying to do right now is get Eugene to safety so they can get all the information that they've gathered all the way to a research lab or whatever, just to find a cure for the walkers. Now, I think we already know how this is going to end up. Eugene might end up dying, but I'm not going to say that for now because I don't read the comics. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. As we can see in this episode that he can't even really handle himself around the walkers, and they asked him, like, how come you don't know how to shoot? And he's like, well, we didn't really get combat training. So he doesn't know how to shoot, he doesn't know how to handle himself. So I wonder how he's going to be. The only importance that he has to the squad is the information that he has. When that information is gone, he's basically useless. So he's really smart, and that's basically what he has. And but he can't fight walkers or anything. He was shooting him and spraying him in the stomach and all that stuff. He can't hold himself together. So right now they're gonna go with Glenn for now, just so Glenn, can have his happiness or whatever, try to find Maggie, and hopefully he does. But hopefully he does find her, because we all know that she's not dead. So that was essentially the first part, and the part that was kind of least important in this episode. It was really important because we found out really nice information about what's going on right now. Right now we have the cure, possibly the cure. We don't know if it's actually the cure, but the guy has some info on the walkers. So hopefully this goes the way that we want it to go. And now they're with Glenn, and they're gonna help Glenn help safety. And I always wondered what was that girl from Ned Declassified was doing, but she's obviously still acting because she's in this episode. So that was cool to see too. So then basically after all this I'm gonna get to the Rick part and all that shit that went down with Rick. So then we go over to Michonne and Carl, and Michonne and Carl is basically having this dialogue right now. And I really do like this interaction between Michonne and Carl, because it shows you like they're kind of warming up to each other. Because we get to a scene where Rick and Michonne was talking, and he said basically he's trying to get her, he heard Carl laughing at her in the living room, and he's trying to get her to talk to Carl more, because he was like, I almost forgot what that laugh sounds like. So Rick basically wants Michonne to keep talking to Carl, so Carl could have somebody to, to express himself to and all that stuff, and he could still feel human. So she's like, I don't want to he was like, if you need a break, I'll give you a break. And she was like, I don't need a break anymore. I'm done with the breaks. So we can see that she does like Carl, and she's really trying to warm up to him because she lost her son, and basically, she's starting to see Carl resembling her son somewhat, because in the there's another scene where she's like, my son was a handful just like you. So there's really this big interaction between Carl and Michonne. And Carl, he's asking Michonne about the questions about her son Andre, and she started to play a game with him so she could get her mind off of it, because at first we started to get the feel that she didn't really want to talk about her son that much. She was kind of sensitive about the situation, so she tried to turn it into a game and said, you know what, let's do the clearing out a room game, and then if we find something, then I tell you, you can ask him a question. So I do like the dialogue between Michonne and Carl, when he was at the table eating cereal and he was talking about soy milk, and then next it was the whole opening up to Carl. You know, Carl was the only person that she actually told about Andre. No one else knows, and Carl is the first person she told to. So she really has a lot of trust in Carl. So Carl, you know, he does have a sidekick now, because now Michonne, you know, she's a badass and she's gonna be killing mad walkers, and Carl is gonna grow up to be a badass. So he does have a sidekick now. And then the whole thing with Rick and those guys in the house was kind of sketchy, because at first when the guy showed up, I was like, you know, Rick could show himself to them and be like, yo, I'm not a walker. Like, he could have more people in his group. But then when the guy choked out his friend and threw him on the floor, I was like, oh yeah, Rick, you did the right you did the right choice by going on the bed. You chose the right thing. And then Rick, the scene that got me sketched out was when Rick went into that bathroom and the dude was in there and Rick started choking him out. I'm like, how did they not hear all this noise? All the stuff from the sink was falling on the floor. He was breaking everything. The guy was going for the scissors and all that noise. How did they not hear it? I'm like, wait, what's going on? How can you not hear this? And then he falls on the back porch. No one heard that. And then he left the door open just a crack. No one saw the body. But that door, when he left the door open just a crack, that was a smart thing to do, because it saved him later on when he was by the porch and he was about to get up and, like, I think he was gonna get up and yell at Carl to get away, or maybe he was trying to get up and choke out the dude that was sitting on the porch. He was about to do that. Then the guy that he killed in the bathroom turned into a walker. That's basically what happened. That's why the dude ran back in the house. The dude that Rick killed in the bathroom turned into a walker. So it was smart for him to leave the door open just a crack. But the whole thing with the noise making, I was like, what is going on? How can they not hear this? So, but that was a pretty smart thing for Rick to do. Then over to the Michonne and Carl thing, that's basically what's been going on. You know, Carl and Michonne, they're warming up to each other, and Michonne went into this room and she found these people and they died. And she's like looking at the bodies and stuff, and I think it was like a little girl or like an old lady, or like this, like a little girl on this chair, and I think maybe she was thinking about the governor's daughter. I don't know. Maybe she was like thinking about his daughter and how she killed his daughter. Well, she was a walker, but other than that, she killed his daughter. So all those scenes was really perfect, but it was really sketchy about the whole bathroom thing. Like, how come they didn't hear this? And you know, Rick finally gets away and they walk away. Now, I hope next episode they focus more on the group where Glenn is at, because Eugene has vital information that may save everybody. So, and I said this before, I don't like the fact that, I mean, it's cool and everything, but the fact that Glenn is going back for Maggie, that's kind of sketchy, because I knew it was gonna happen. They're gonna let the love between them get interfere with what's the logical thing to do. And you know, Eugene kind of effed it up by shooting the truck. But other than that, you know, I hope they focus more on that group, because that's probably the most important group right now. Because everybody else, you know, they don't really have anything that's gonna help out. You know, Rick, Carl, and Michonne, they're on the move. Daryl, he's on the move. Sasha, Bob, Maggie, they're on the move. So everybody's scattering around. So we don't know who's gonna meet up with who. But I just hope they focus in on the group that Glenn is on, because they're probably the most important group right now. And so that was basically it. But I hope that Rick and Michonne and Carl add more people to their group, because you know, Rick is he can't really still be, like, he's still a little bit sick, so it's hard for him to be on his feet and move around. So they need to find shelter. They did find that train car, but he was like, no, let's just keep moving. So Rick can't really be on his feet right now. So hopefully they find shelter and find some more people to add to their group, because everyone is scattering around. Like I said, everyone is scattering around. No one's really near each other. So hopefully they all can meet new people and stuff and add new characters into the show. And so, like I said before, I hope they're really focusing on Glenn's group. You know, the whole thing between Glenn and that guy, I forgot his name, and that battle royale, and it almost got Eugene killed. So that, hopefully that wasn't a foreshadow for later, because we all know Eugene may die, because when they key in on characters that have importance to the show, they usually die. And so I hope this wasn't a foreshadow for what might happen later, because they're all focused on, you know, fighting each other, and Glenn was focusing on finding Maggie, that they weren't focused on Eugene, and Eugene was he was by himself essentially trying to fight off walkers. So I hope that wasn't a foreshadow for later on that Eugene might get killed because they're worrying too much about themselves and not the rest of humanity. Because they really need to focus in on Eugene and how to get Eugene to safety. But Glenn is focusing on Maggie, which isn't a bad thing, but it's gonna be bad for the group essentially because they can't. Like he said to Glenn, we need you to survive. The more the numbers, the better it is for this guy to get the information to whatever science lab that he needs to get the information to. So hopefully this doesn't get into Glenn's way. Hopefully he does find Maggie and then they can move on from this. And hopefully we do get to see Daryl and what's her face, because I forgot her name. In the sneak peek we did see that they're gonna shine some light on them. So hopefully they find like a group because they're a two-man squad right now, and that may be a bad thing. So leave comments down below, guys. What do you guys think? What's going to happen with these groups? So they focus in on Glenn's group because I think they're the most important group right now. Hit the like button, guys, if you liked it. Leave your comments on what do you guys think about this episode. Subscribe. I'm Edman, and I'm up.